Hello everyone. In our NPTEL program on lean construction, we have been looking at the lean basics, and today we will look at a very interesting tool called 5S. We will have basics of 5S, some brief explanations. Then there are 5 S's and we will understand them each by turn. Then we will look at what are the key points, the key benefits, and then how you can experiment with yourself using 5S. And of course, we will look at a typical project, and finally, we also will look at a few case studies. So, there are two broad parts in this session. One is understanding the basics of 5S, the explanations and the process. And the second part, we will look at each 5S in greater detail and take up the case studies thereafter. The learning objectives for this session would be to understand the definition of 5S and the explanations, and then to actually understand the 5S process itself. Now, what exactly is 5S? It's actually a visual tool, a very effective tool, part of lean management. It covers the workplace organization. You can call it a visual workplace. It's part of the digitalization drive, which we have today as part of construction. And some people may think it is just housekeeping. It's much more than that. It's a very methodical and powerful tool to improve the working environment and consequently improve the efficiencies and also the construction safety. It, as part of the basic tenets of lean, it helps us to eliminate and reduce wastes at the site level. Some people can even experience about something like 20 to 30% improvement in efficiency by practicing 5S properly. You can look at a typical site, what is shown here, and then compare it with the best of sites which you see in a world-class organization, and the difference could be practice of 5S. We have been talking about the 5 S's. What exactly are they? Each S actually is a short form of a Japanese term, like for example, Sairi, Saiton, Seisu, Sekitsu and Seisuke. And they stand for, the first one, sort, second one is set in order, shine, standardize and sustain. And you can have more clarifications like sort, sifting, clearing, classification. And the second one, set in order, you can think of it as straightening, simplifying and configuring the various components. You can shine, sweep, then you can scrub, clean and check, as a result of all that. Then standardize, stabilize and see if it conforms to our standards. And finally, the whole process has to be sustained in a long-term basis, and for that we need self-discipline and also the involvement of the customer and the various practices. So, looking at it in more detail, sort actually what we need to do is, at the site there are so many materials lying around. We need to clarify ourselves and sort out what exactly is required for the task at hand and what is not. And whatever is not useful in the immediate future, we need to take that out of the site itself, so we have a clutter-free site. That's sort. Then set in order. Again, there are so many items there, which we keep using, and they need to be kept in proper order, so we are able to reach them quickly, and there is no confusion, and there is no clutter again. And whatever you are using, it has to be in top order. It has to be clean. It has to be visible. That's the shine part of it. The third S. And then there are a number of people at the site, many stakeholders, and we need to bring them all on the same board. How do we do that? That's by standardization. So, standardization again is an important part of 5S. And finally, whatever we practice, we need to make it sustainable in the long run. It has to continue, and you may remember one of the key tenets of lean is continuous improvement. And we can't do that unless we keep practicing 5S on a continuous basis. That's where the sustained part comes in. So, these are the 5 steps which we have in 5S, and you can look at it here: sort, then you have the set in order, then we have shine, then we have the standardization part, and finally the sustaining over the long run.